First contact's price. The quantum computers aboard Research Station Helios hummed their constant melody as Dr. Sarah Chen reviewed the latest data from the deep space sensors. The station, humanity's most advanced research facility, hung in geosynchronous orbit above Mars, its crystalline spires reaching out like frozen lightning against the rust-red planet below. Director Chen, you need to see this. Marcus Wong's voice carried an edge that made Sarah look up from her holographic displays. The young physicist rarely showed concern. His usual demeanor was one of endless enthusiasm about their work pushing the boundaries of human understanding. Sarah's augmented reality interface highlighted Marcus's elevated heart rate and stress indicators as she approached his station. What have you found? These energy signatures, Marcus said, expanding a three-dimensional graph with a gesture. They don't match anything in our database, but they're approaching at FTL speeds. Multiple contacts on an intercept course with the station. Sarah felt her throat tighten as she studied the readings. Humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel just 3 years ago, and they hadn't encountered any other spacefaring civilizations yet. First contact was something they had prepared for extensively, but not like this. Not with unknown vessels charging straight toward their research station. Alert status, she commanded, her neural implant broadcasting the order throughout the station. Red warning lights pulsed silently as the station's 200 researchers and support staff moved to their designated positions. Get me a direct quantum link to Earth Command. The connection was establishing when the first explosion rocked the station. Alarms screamed as emergency containment fields snapped into place. Through the station's external feeds, Sarah watched in horror as sleek, biomechanical ships emerged from hyperspace, their hulls rippling with patterns that seemed to defy physics. Multiple hull breaches in sections 7 through 12, the station's AI reported calmly. Unknown energy weapons detected. Conventional shields ineffective. Sarah grabbed a neural interface headset from the emergency rack, synchronizing with the station's defense systems. The automated turrets were already responding, firing precisely calculated bursts of plasma at the attacking vessels. But their weapons seemed to pass right through the alien ships, as if they weren't fully in their dimension. Earth Command responding, Marcus called out. The holographic face of Admiral Helena Santos materialized in the command center. Director Chen, we're tracking the situation. Hold on. Reinforcements are 8 minutes out. Another blast shook the station. Sarah watched in horror as one of the alien ships extended what looked like organic tentacles, puncturing through the station's quantum-reinforced hull as if it were paper. We don't have 8 minutes, Sarah replied, her augmented reality display showing critical systems failing across the station. They're using technology we can't even understand, let alone defend against. Through the external feeds, she could now see the attackers clearly. Their ships were alive, growing and adapting to the station's defenses in real time. And emerging from them were figures that haunted the darkest corners of human imagination. Tall, insectoid beings in biomechanical armor, moving with terrifying precision. Get everyone to the escape pods, Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her gut. Initiate Protocol Omega. Marcus's eyes widened. Director, that will destroy all our research and prevent it from falling into hostile hands. Sarah finished. Go. Get everyone out. I'll handle the data purge. As her staff evacuated, Sarah's fingers flew across holographic interfaces, starting the deletion of decades of humanity's most advanced scientific research. The quantum computers began systematically erasing themselves, taking with them discoveries that had pushed the boundaries of human knowledge. The station shuddered again as more alien boarders cut their way inside. Through security feeds, Sarah watched them methodically moving through the station, their weapons reducing anyone they encountered to atoms. These weren't explorers seeking peaceful contact. They were hunters, and humanity was their prey. Admiral, Sarah said, her voice tight, you need to understand what we're dealing with. They're not just technologically advanced. They're something else entirely. Their ships, their weapons, they operate on principles we haven't even theorized yet. A blast of strange energy cut through the command center's doors, leaving edges that seemed to blur between dimensions. Sarah activated her neural interface's recording function, determined that her last moments would provide Earth with vital intelligence about their attackers. The first alien warrior stepped through the melted doorway, its biomechanical armor shifting and adapting to the station's atmosphere. It stood nearly 3 meters tall, with multiple limbs ending in what looked like living weapons. Its compound eyes fixed on Sarah, and she heard its thoughts directly in her mind. Primitive species, unauthorized technological advancement, containment protocols initiated. Sarah's hand hovered over the final command that would trigger Protocol Omega. Admiral Santos, tell Earth. Tell them not to underestimate these beings, but also tell them not to forget what makes us human. Our adaptability, our creativity. That's what they fear. That's why they're here. The alien raised its weapon. Sarah's neural interface captured every detail. The way its biomechanical components shifted and flowed, the strange energies that defied known physics, the cold calculation in its inhuman eyes. For Earth, Sarah whispered and pressed the command. The research station Helios disappeared in a burst of quantum energy that briefly outshone Mars itself. The explosion destroyed not just the station, but rippled through multiple dimensions, taking with it most of the alien attack force. Back on Earth, Admiral Santos stood in the silent command center, watching the last transmission from the station play out on endless repeat. 200 of humanity's brightest minds, gone in an instant, but they had not died in vain. Their sacrifice had given Earth its first glimpse of a hostile universe, and the warning they needed. "Get me the Security Council," Santos ordered, her voice hard with determination. "And wake up every scientist, every engineer, every brilliant mind we have. If those beings thought we were advancing too quickly before, they're about to learn just how fast humans can adapt when we're fighting for survival." As the quantum communications network carried her orders across the planet, humanity began to stir from its peaceful slumber. In laboratories and research centers around the world, lights came on as the best minds of the species turned their full attention to understanding and countering the alien threat. The aliens had meant to contain humanity's advancement. Instead, they had just guaranteed it would accelerate beyond their worst fears. The age of peaceful exploration was over. The age of humanity's rapid evolution had begun. Unity in grief. The United Nations Emergency Session Chamber in Geneva hummed with tense energy as the quantum hologram of research station Helios's final moments played out for the assembled leaders of Earth. The recording from Dr. Chen's neural interface showed every terrifying detail of humanity's first contact with hostile alien life, right up to her final defiant moments. General Zhao Wei of the Chinese Space Force stood at the podium, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display. The attack on Helios wasn't random. The aliens' own thoughts, captured by Dr. Chen's neural interface, confirm what we feared. They saw our technological progress as a threat. The chamber erupted in multiple languages, neural translators working overtime to keep up with the heated discussions. Ambassador Aisha Patil of India raised her hand for silence. "We've all reviewed the technical data recovered from the quantum burst transmission Helios sent in its final moments," she said, her augmented reality display projecting relevant data points into the air around her. "Their technology doesn't just surpass ours, it operates on principles we barely understand. Then we must understand them." Dr. James Morton interrupted, his holographic form joining the session from the newly established Unified Defense Research Institute in London. The neural recordings show their biomechanical technology responds to thought, adapts in real time. But there's something else, something in the way their ships move through space-time itself. The chamber's main display shifted to show complex mathematical models derived from Helios's sensor data. Strange patterns emerged in the visualization, showing how the alien ships had seemed to exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. "They're not just advanced," Morton continued, his eyes bright with the fever of discovery. They're operating on a fundamental level of reality we haven't achieved yet. But thanks to Dr. Chen's final data burst, we have a roadmap to how their technology works. President Sofia Rodriguez of the American Union leaned forward. How long until we can defend against their weapons? Defend? No, Madam President. Morton's hologram walked through the mathematical display, his hands manipulating the equations. We're going to do much more than defend. Humanity has always excelled at taking others' innovations and improving them. The aliens gave us a glimpse of their technology. Now we're going to show them how humans can transform understanding into advancement. The next hours saw the most unified response in human history. Political differences evaporated in the face of extinction. Resources were pooled, research facilities coordinated, and a new organization was born, the Terran Defense Initiative. In underground laboratories beneath the Himalayas, quantum physicists worked to understand the dimensional shifting properties of alien technology. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, biological research centers studied the molecular structure of alien materials recovered from Helios's debris field. In orbital factories, engineers began retrofitting humanity's fleet with innovations born of desperate necessity. Dr. Maya Patel stood in her laboratory at the Unified Defense Research Institute, surrounded by holographic projections of alien weapon signatures. She had been working for 72 hours straight, her neural enhancers keeping her focused despite exhaustion. There, she whispered, watching as her latest simulation finally achieved stability. It's not about matching their technology. It's about understanding the principles and finding our own way to achieve the same results. Her breakthrough would prove to be just one of many. Humanity's greatest minds, united in purpose, began to unravel the mysteries of their attackers' superiority. But they didn't simply copy. They innovated, improved, and transformed their understanding into something uniquely human. Admiral Santos watched from her command center as the first prototype of Earth's new defensive system came online. Based on Dr. Patel's insights, it didn't try to stop alien weapons. It redirected their dimensional effects, using their own technology against them. We're ready for the first full-scale test, Dr. Morton reported, his hologram appearing beside her. The quantum field generators are operating at 300% of what we thought possible 3 months ago. Santos nodded, her neural implant connecting her directly to the test facility systems. Proceed. The test vessel, an unmanned drone, activated its new defensive systems. The alien weapon salvaged from Helios fired, its strange energies reaching across dimensions. But this time, instead of destroying its target, the beam was caught in a complex web of quantum fields, its energy redirected and dispersed. It works, Morton breathed, his hologram showing actual emotion for the first time in months. But that's not all. Watch this. The drone systems didn't just defend, they analyzed the attack in real time, its quantum computers learning and adapting. With each subsequent shot, the defense became more efficient, more effective. We're not just catching up to their technology, Santos realized, a smile spreading across her face. We're surpassing it. How long until we can implement this across the fleet? That's the beautiful part, Morton replied. We designed it to be adaptable, scalable. Every ship, every station can be upgraded within weeks, and each installation will learn, adapt, and share its knowledge across our quantum network. In orbiting shipyards around Earth and Mars, the transformation of humanity's fleet began. Sleek hulls were reinforced with quantum reactive materials. Conventional weapons were replaced with systems that could affect multiple dimensions simultaneously. Neural interfaces were upgraded to allow crews to react at the speed of thought. But perhaps most importantly, humanity had learned from its enemies. The new ships weren't just powerful. They were adaptable, able to learn and evolve their tactics in real time. Each vessel became a testament to human ingenuity, combining the cold precision of advanced technology with the creative problem-solving that made humanity unique. 6 months after the destruction of Research Station Helios, Earth was ready. The largest fleet ever assembled by humanity hung in high orbit, each ship a perfect fusion of human creativity and advanced technology. They had taken the aliens' attempt to contain them and turned it into the catalyst for unprecedented advancement. Admiral Santos stood on the bridge of the flagship Vengeance, named in honor of Helios's fallen crew. Around her, neural-linked crew members worked in perfect synchronization, their enhanced minds connecting with their ship's systems at levels that would have seemed impossible just months ago. "All ships report ready," her tactical officer announced. "Quantum drive systems are synchronized. The fleet is yours, Admiral." Santos touched the memorial plaque on her command chair, her fingers tracing Dr. Chen's name. "They thought they could stop human advancement," she said softly. "Instead, they'd forced us to evolve faster than ever before. Signal all ships. Operation Starcross begins now." As one, humanity's fleet engaged their quantum drives, disappearing in a flash of light that rippled across dimensions. They weren't just going to defend Earth. They were going to show the galaxy that attempting to contain humanity's potential was the gravest mistake any species could make. Operation Starcross. The void between stars erupted with quantum distortions as humanity's fleet materialized in the Proxima Centauri system. 300 ships, their hulls gleaming with newly developed quantum reactive armor, emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. At their head, the flagship Vengeance pulsed with power as its sensors swept across multiple dimensions. Admiral Santos stood at the command center, her neural interface connecting her directly to the fleet's unified combat network. Through it, she could feel every ship, every weapon system, every crew member linked in perfect synchronization. Multiple contacts detected, her tactical officer reported, his augmented consciousness processing sensor data faster than any unenhanced human could. Alien signatures matched those from the Helios attack. They're scrambling to combat positions. Santos allowed herself a grim smile. The aliens had never expected humanity to track them here, to their hidden outpost in humanity's closest neighboring star system. They certainly hadn't expected humans to master multi-dimensional travel so quickly. "All ships, Combat Protocol Alpha," she ordered through the neural net. "Remember your training. Remember Helios." The alien fleet, larger than their own but no longer technologically superior, launched their first attack. Beams of exotic energy, the same weapons that had torn through Research Station Helios, lanced out toward the human ships. But this time, humanity was ready. Quantum defense fields flickered to life, catching the alien weapons and redirecting their energy through dimensional shifts that Dr. Patel had theorized and proven. Each attack was not just deflected. It was analyzed, understood, and countered with increasing efficiency. "They're adapting their weapon frequencies," Commander Sarah Hayes reported from the tactical station. "Just as we expected. Implementing countermeasures now." The human fleet's response was devastating in its precision. Ships moved in perfectly coordinated patterns, their formations shifting through multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Weapons fire wasn't just aimed at where the alien ships were, but at where they would be across several possible timelines. On the bridge of the lead alien vessel, Supreme Commander Zixtal watched in growing horror as his fleet's supposedly superior technology failed to penetrate the human defenses. More disturbing was how the humans fought, not as individual ships, but as a single organism, adapting and evolving their tactics in real time. "Impossible," he chittered to his command staff. "They were primitive, contained. How did they advance so quickly?" The answer came in the form of a quantum transmission, broadcast on frequencies that Sixtel's people had thought humans couldn't even detect. Admiral Santos's image appeared on their command deck, her expression hard but composed. "You thought you could contain us," she said, her words automatically translated by the advanced linguistic systems developed from studying the Helios recordings. "You thought you could stop human advancement. Instead, you gave us the push we needed to exceed even your capabilities." As if to emphasize her point, a new wave of human attacks struck the alien fleet. But these weren't simple energy weapons. They were targeted quantum disruptions that forced Zixtel's ships into single-dimensional states, stripping away their primary advantage. Battle Group Theta, execute maneuver Helios, Santos commanded. A dozen human ships broke formation, their quantum drives creating a complex web of dimensional distortions. Alien vessels caught in the web found themselves unable to maintain their multidimensional states, becoming vulnerable to conventional weapons. Fascinating adaptation. Dr. Morton's voice came through Santos's neural link. The scientist was monitoring the battle from Earth, his enhanced consciousness analyzing every detail. They're trying to reconfigure their dimensional shifting protocols, but our quantum network is learning and countering faster than they can adjust. The battle continued for hours, but its outcome was never in doubt. Humanity had not just caught up to their attackers, they had surpassed them, turning their own technological principles against them with characteristic human innovation. Zixtal watched his fleet's destruction with a growing understanding of his species' fatal error. They had judged humanity by their technological level alone, never considering their capacity for rapid advancement, their ability to unite in the face of external threats, or their unique talent for improving upon others' innovations. Supreme Commander, his tactical officer reported, mandibles clicking in distress, "We're detecting quantum field buildups in all human vessels. They're preparing something we've never seen before. All ships, synchronize quantum matrices," Santos ordered through the neural net. "Prepare to execute protocol enlightenment." The human fleet moved into a complex geometric formation, their quantum fields interacting in ways that created cascading dimensional effects. Dr. Morton had theorized this technique, but they had never tested it at this scale. "You wanted to contain human advancement," Santos transmitted to the alien command ship. "Now let us show you what that advancement has achieved." 300 human ships activated their quantum fields simultaneously. The space between dimensions rippled as reality itself seemed to fold. Alien vessels found their multi-dimensional technology not just neutralized but reversed, trapping them in pocket universes where their advanced weapons and defenses were useless. Commander Hayes's enhanced consciousness processed the battle data with savage satisfaction. All alien vessels contained, Admiral. Their dimensional shifting capability has been completely neutralized. Santos stood from her command chair, her neural interface connecting her to every ship and crew member in the fleet. Through their shared network, she felt their collective triumph, their vindication. "This is Admiral Santos to all vessels. Commence final phase. Show them exactly what humanity does to those who underestimate us." The trapped alien fleet could only watch as humanity's weapons, conventional arms enhanced by their newfound understanding of dimensional physics, systematically dismantled their ships, not destroying them outright, but carefully disabling their capacity to fight while preserving their crews for interrogation. In his command center, Zixtal prepared to transmit the surrender signal his species had never before used. On his screens, he watched the human fleet moving with impossible precision, their technology already visibly evolving beyond what had been used at the start of the battle. They had meant to contain humanity's advancement. Instead, they had catalyzed an evolution that would reshape the galaxy's balance of power forever. As the quantum fields closed around his ship, Zixtal realized that his people had not just lost a battle, they had created a new superpower. The Hunter's Shadow. Deep within the captured alien command ship, Dr. Maya Patel's enhanced consciousness interfaced directly with the vessel's quantum databases. Around her, a team of xenolinguists and cryptographers worked to decode the vast archives they'd discovered. What they found changed everything they thought they knew about their adversaries. "Admiral Santos," Maya called through the neural network. "You need to see this immediately." The Admiral's consciousness joined Maya's in the virtual space, their enhanced minds processing the alien data streams together. The information painted a picture far more complex than they'd imagined. "They're not the apex," Maya explained, highlighting streams of data. "Our attackers. They're called the Vorkath. They're enforcers for something much larger. Something they call the Ascended Convergence." The data revealed a galaxy divided not by traditional borders, but by technological thresholds. The Convergence, a coalition of ancient species, maintained their power by systematically suppressing emerging civilizations that showed too much potential. The Vorkath were just one of many enforcer species they employed. This explains their obsession with containing advancement. Santos mused, her consciousness expanding through the data. They're not just protecting their superiority. They're maintaining an entire galactic order. Commander Hayes joined their virtual conference, her avatar materializing with urgent news. Admiral, we've decoded their combat logs. The Helios attack wasn't their first attempt to contain an emerging species. They've done this thousands of times across the galaxy. The implications hit them like a quantum shockwave. Humanity hadn't just defeated a hostile alien force. They'd broken a system of technological apartheid that had existed for millennia. In the physical world, aboard the Vengeance's command deck, Santos opened her eyes. Broadcast these findings to Earth Command immediately, and get me a secure channel to Supreme Commander Zixtal. I believe it's time for a different kind of conversation. The Vorkath commander was brought to a specialized interrogation chamber, where quantum fields allowed secure communication while preventing any hostile action. His chitinous frame seemed smaller somehow, less threatening now that they understood his true role. You exceeded parameters, Zixtal said without preamble. No species has ever advanced so quickly after initial containment. The Convergence will not allow this to stand. Santos studied him through the quantum barrier. Tell me about the others, the species you've contained before us. How many could have achieved what humanity has if you'd given them the chance? The alien's compound eyes shifted uncomfortably. You don't understand. The Convergence maintains order. Without technological controls, the galaxy would descend into chaos, into war. No, Dr. Morton's hologram appeared in the chamber, his expression fierce. You maintain stagnation. You enforce artificial limits on innovation and progress. And now you're afraid because humanity has proven your entire system is built on a lie. The quantum displays around them, filled with data from the Vorkath archives, records of countless civilizations whose potential had been deliberately stunted, whose innovations had been stolen and suppressed, whose futures had been decided by the Convergence's arbitrary standards. Preliminary analysis suggests at least 30 current species have the potential for rapid advancement like ours, Maya reported through the neural net. The only thing holding them back is the Convergence's enforced technological barriers. Santos felt a new purpose forming in her mind, one that resonated through the neural network connecting humanity's forces. You gave us no choice but to advance, she told Zixtal. Now we're going to give that same choice to others. The next few weeks saw humanity's fleet expanding their operation beyond mere victory. Ships equipped with their revolutionary quantum technology began appearing in systems where other species were approaching the Convergence's arbitrary containment thresholds. The Vorkath's databases had given them everything they needed: locations, technological assessments, and most importantly, the means to communicate with these emerging civilizations. Each contact brought new allies, new perspectives, new potential for innovation. On a garden world 20 light-years from Earth, Santos stood before the leaders of the Nexar, a species that had been contained by the Vorkath a decade earlier. Their crystalline bodies shimmered with suppressed energy as they reviewed the human offer. You would share this technology? Their prime consciousness asked, its thoughts translating through the advanced interfaces humanity had developed. Even knowing we might one day surpass you. That's exactly why we're sharing it, Santos replied. Humanity's strength isn't in hoarding knowledge or suppressing others. It's in adaptation, collaboration, and continuous improvement. We believe the galaxy will be stronger with more species reaching their full potential, not fewer. The Nexar weren't the only ones. Across the sector, species that had been held back by the Convergence's enforced limitations began to rise. Human quantum technology, designed to be adaptable and accessible, proved to be the perfect catalyst for their liberation. Dr. Morton's consciousness roamed through the virtual data streams, analyzing reports from dozens of worlds. Each species is adapting our technology in unique ways, he reported to Earth Command. The Nexar have already developed applications we never considered. The Zentari have merged it with their biological computing. The potential for collaborative advancement is beyond anything we could achieve alone. But with each liberation, each new species breaking free of the convergence's constraints, the countdown to confrontation grew shorter. The ancient powers would not allow their system of control to be dismantled without a fight. Multiple quantum distortions detected at the edge of charted space, Commander Hayes reported during a fleet-wide briefing. Energy signatures far exceed anything in the Vorkath database. The convergence is mobilizing. Santos stood on her bridge, feeling the combined consciousness of humanity's forces, now augmented by their growing alliance of liberated species, preparing for the greatest challenge they'd ever faced. They thought they could contain humanity's potential, she broadcast through the neural network. Instead, we're about to show them that true advancement comes not from control and suppression, but from freedom and collaboration. The quantum sensors began tracking massive fleet movements. The ascended convergence, for the first time in millennia, was emerging from the shadows to deal with a threat to their power. But they would not face humanity alone. Across the sector, ships of the newly liberated species joined formation with Earth's fleet. Each brought their own innovations, their own adaptations of the quantum technology humanity had shared. Together, they represented everything the convergence had tried to prevent: unfettered advancement, collaborative innovation, and the unstoppable power of free potential. All ships, prepare for dimensional shift, Santos commanded. The real war for the galaxy's future is about to begin. Dawn of the Star Empire. The dimensional barriers between real space and quantum space shimmered as the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history took formation. At its center, humanity's ships flew alongside vessels from 24 liberated species, each bringing their own unique innovations to the coming battle. The Nexar's crystalline ships pulsed with living energy, while the organic tech hybrid vessels of the Zentari shifted forms like liquid metal. Admiral Santos stood on the Vengeance's bridge. Her consciousness expanded through the neural network that now connected not just human minds, but the varied consciousness of their allies. Through it, she could feel the determination of every species that had broken free from the convergence's suppression. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. Commander Hayes reported, her enhanced mind processing sensor data from across the dimensional spectrum. The convergence fleet, it's beyond anything we've ever seen. The space before them tore open as ships emerged from dimensional states humanity had never encountered. The ascended convergence's vessels defied conventional physics, their forms suggesting technologies developed over millions of years of enforced superiority. They're broadcasting, Dr. Maya Patel announced, her consciousness interpreting the complex quantum signals. Translating now. A figure materialized in the command center, a being of pure energy contained within a matrix of technologies so advanced they appeared magical. The overseer of the ascended convergence spoke, its thoughts resonating directly in their minds. "You have disrupted the balance we have maintained for eons," it declared. "Your species was contained for a purpose. Order must be preserved." Santos stood, her neural implants projecting her response across all quantum frequencies. "You call it order. We call it suppression. Every species has the right to reach their full potential. Potential leads to chaos," the overseer countered. "To war. To destruction. We have seen it countless times across countless cycles." "No," Santos replied, drawing on the combined knowledge of their allied species. "You've seen what happens when you force advancement to happen in isolation. We're proving there's another way." Through their shared neural network, the combined fleet demonstrated what the convergence had failed to understand. The Nexar's crystalline technology merged seamlessly with human quantum fields, creating defense systems that adapted faster than any single species could achieve. Zentari organic computing enhanced the reaction times of human weapons, while the newly liberated Theri contributed their mastery of gravitational manipulation. This is what real advancement looks like. Dr. Morton's consciousness broadcast through the network. Not controlled evolution, but collaborative innovation. Each species building on the other's strengths. The overseer's energy form fluctuated. You cannot comprehend the forces you are unleashing. The power you are challenging. Initial quantum scans complete, Maya reported through the neural net. Their technology is incredibly advanced, but it's stagnant. They haven't truly innovated in thousands of years. The realization spread through the Allied fleet's shared consciousness. The Convergence's power wasn't based on superior innovation. It was built on the suppression of new ideas, new approaches, new ways of thinking. All ships implement protocol unity, Santos commanded. The Allied fleet moved as one, their very technologies synchronizing in ways the Convergence had never imagined possible. Human quantum fields merged with Nexar crystal matrices, creating multi-dimensional barriers that could adapt to any attack. Zentari organic computers coordinated with human neural networks, processing tactical data faster than light itself. The Convergence fleet attacked first, unleashing weapons that could erase entire star systems. But they found themselves facing something unprecedented, not just multiple species fighting together, but multiple technological approaches working in perfect harmony. They're trying to analyze our defense patterns, Commander Hayes reported with satisfaction. But there are no patterns. Every ship, every species is contributing their own innovations in real time. The battle that followed would be remembered for millennia. The Convergence's superior technology clashed with the combined creativity of dozens of species fighting for their right to advance. Every attack the ancient powers launched was met with collaborative solutions that evolved faster than they could adapt. Their defensive formations are fracturing, Maya announced. They can't predict our responses because we're not fighting like any single species. We're fighting like all of us. The Overseer's energy form pulsed with what might have been fear. What are you? We are the future you tried to prevent, Santos replied. Her consciousness merged with the fleet's unified network. We are what happens when species are allowed to grow, to innovate, to work together instead of being forced apart. Through their quantum sensors, they watched the Convergence's perfectly ordered formations begin to break. Their ancient technology, unchanged for eons, couldn't adapt to the chaos of true innovation. Each attempt to counter one species' tactics was met with a combined response from all. Their dimensional fields are collapsing, Hayes reported. They're trying to retreat to their higher dimensional spaces. Not this time, Santos commanded. The Allied fleet moved into its final formation, a geometric pattern that drew on the mathematical principles of all their combined species. Human quantum technology merged with Nexar crystal resonance, amplified by Zentari organic computing, and focused through Theri gravitational lenses. The result transcended any single species' capability. The fabric of space-time itself responded to their combined will, closing the dimensional escape routes the Convergence have relied on for millions of years. You fought to contain us, Santos broadcast to the trapped Convergence fleet. To contain all of us. But true advancement cannot be contained. It can only be embraced. The Overseer's form fluctuated one final time. What? What do you want? We want what we've already created, Santos replied, gesturing to the combined fleet around them. A galaxy where species work together, where innovation is celebrated, not feared, where advancement comes from collaboration, not suppression. In the end, the ascended Convergence's surrender was almost anticlimactic. Their fleet, for all its advanced technology, could not overcome the combined creativity and adaptability of the species they had tried to suppress. As the quantum dust settled, Admiral Santos stood in the newly established Galactic Council chamber, a space created not to control, but to connect. Representatives from hundreds of species, both newly liberated and long suppressed, gathered to shape the future they would build together. The age of containment is over, she declared to the assembled species. The age of collaboration has begun. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't defeating the Convergence, it was proving that true strength comes not from suppressing others, but from helping them rise alongside us. The quantum networks hummed with possibilities as species that had been kept apart for millennia began sharing ideas, innovations, and dreams. The galaxy was about to witness an explosion of advancement unlike anything in its history. Humanity had not just broken free from containment, they had shattered the very concept of suppressed potential. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, illuminating the dawn of a new era where every species could reach for their full potential together.